Hey everyone, very good afternoon. So I'm Shreya. My name is Shreya. I'm the MC for today's second track. Thank you very much for joining us today on this wonderful events. This is happening very first time in the Dubai and Middle East, the API days. Thank you very much again for joining for this amazing session of things about the APIs, business, finance, insurance, and many more. So, our speaker for today is the Faisal. He's the solution architecture at the Alexa International. Faisal, please welcome on this stage.
Hi everyone, thank you Sharia. Thank you for
Yeah,
introducing me. I'm looking forward.
yeah, Faisal. Stage is all yours. Yeah,
Thank you. Uh, Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us in the API Days Dubai and Middle East. Today I'm going to talk about APIs for business scalability. Uh, just- my name is Faisal Banaeamah. I'm an architect. I worked at Amazon. I start my career an application developer at King Fahd University of Petroleum and Mineral. Then I moved to Ilm company and I worked uh, in my, I spent the past decades in service integration and APIs. After I worked also there as an API evangelist. After that, I moved to Solutions by STC. I worked there as an architect in the digital transformation office. And currently, I am working as a senior solution architect at Amazon. I'm interested in APIs, containers, service-oriented architecture and microservices, cloud computing, and in DevOps. Yes, I'm based in Saudi Arabia, as it's seen from the icon. Uh, the agenda for today, I'm not going to present any product or any service, rather than having a quick discussion, talking about the business scalability with the APIs. I will start with an introduction, including a real life use case. After that, we will go to di- multiple stages of digital transformation. Then we will explore together a set of aspects of business scalability using the APIs. Uh, then we will have an architecture blueprint for digital transformation that could be used as reference. Finally, we will go through a set of industry standards for APIs. Then we will conclude. As a use case, I think the majority of us went through this use case, which is planning for a holiday. When a customer needs to plan, thinking about having a vacation and going for a holiday, they would like to get the planning, including the tickets for the airlines and as well as hotels. So in the past, or very past, the customers, they usually go uh, to the offices or branches of the airlines or travel agencies, discuss with the agent about the plan, and after that they can get the booking and reservation set up. Yet there is a limit. Yeah, it's quite challenging for airlines companies as well as the travel agency to be geographically available in all regions and cities, beside the cost that comes with this setup. And from customer perspectives, before going in person to these offices, they have to have their plan at least ready or drafted. In addition to that, there will be some limited options for them in terms of the routes, in terms of the prices. So this brought us to another stage, which is sort of automating the manual process that happened in the first stage. Many of the airlines companies and hotels, they created their own web applications, and these applications support their customer to do self-service for reservation. Uh, and they expose the services that used to be in the offices through their web application. This is what called as digitization, and it has been it's clearly a conversion from an analog information or manual work into digital form. In the previous stage, the ticket was hard copy, and it has to be it was given by the offices to the customers. Here, it's an electronic version and could be downloaded directly by the customer. With the digitization, there was a business growth for the airlines and hotel industry. However, it's still limited. Why is that? Because beside the in-person customers, they also they grow to the customers that directly accessing their applications. So it's there is a growth, but it's limited to the people or to the customer who access their application. And from the customer perspectives, it requires awareness uh, from the customer. They have to be aware about what are the applications, what are the available airlines, the available hotels that they have web applications, and also it's quite challenging to swap between these applications. That brought us to the current situation that we have nowadays, where where the majority of the airlines and hotels, they expose their services, their system of records, they expose it as APIs to be consumed by multiple applications and platforms, and include these applications including their own application as the 1P application, beside their partners or the distributors, resellers, even travel agency who have their own platforms that consume these APIs. And that's what's called digitalization, which is an application or applying the digital technology or the APIs in our case to deliver business value within the core business domain of the industry or the enterprise. We clearly see that there was an evolution digitally in this particular industry from in-person toward digitalization, passing through digitization. In the next slide, we are going to explore what are the business scalability aspects that are achieved or that are achieved using the APIs. The first one is the internal innovation, and we mean by internal is at the enterprise or inside the enterprise itself, including delivering more application, 1P applications supported by the internal developers within the enterprise. It could be composition of multiple services to fulfill a need of end-to-end customer experience, like a full like also a full integration with other providers or service providers partners from other industry to complete the journey. Again, for the holiday, a customer they would like to have hotels, they would like to have flights, they would like even to have local transportation. These these full uh, the, uh, these services could be provided as one end-to-end experience by 1P applications. And there are a lot of local airlines that does this, including Saudiya, Flynas, Emirates, and also there are plenty of hotels that does similar. One of the part of the innovation, which is making services that has flexible monetization and pricing planning, to make sure that it serve the customers according in season basis, based on the providing some offers and bundling. Another aspect of business scalability is the partnership ecosystems, and we mean by that is the third party applications that are developed by external developers, not the internal one. This is different than the previous one. And the main purpose here, these external developers, they work and develop their own application, making sure that they utilize the APIs that are provided by the airlines and hotels. Uh, some of these third-party platforms, they already have their own APIs that could be integrated or interacted with other industry. And for example, in ERB, integrating employees' annual leave process with holiday planning. This could be done by an integration with the uh, third-party APIs that use the service provider API. Another aspect is the omnichannel, and we mean by omnichannel is to make valuable business engagement with the customers through multiple channels. These channels could be applications, web applications, mobile applications in iOS or Android, or even it could be voice applications with the voice user interface, like what we have in Alexa. Another business scalability, which is the growth of reaching out to business asset of the service provider or the enterprise by a wide range of customers, could be achieved by the direct customer of the first application that have full-fledged experience, with experience end to end, reachability to the customers who are using the third party platforms, like we have seen in the previous slides, and also the customers uh, that access through mobile app, through web or web browser, or even via voice interface. This brought us or opens the door to the digital transformation. This business scalability opens the door to the digital transformation, which can be defined as the radical change to become digital enterprise. What do we mean by that? We mean that to go beyond the digitalization and providing set of service as digital. It's digital service. It's not part of, for example, in our case, in our example, the airlines and hotels. We're talking about payment, and this payment or billing could be sold, uh, and become a revenue, and become a revenue points for the industry. That's main focus was airlines or hotels. This is what we call digital transformation, is providing digital services, and these digital services become business lines. Here we are going to have a look on architecture blueprint for digital transformation. As we can see in the left hand side, we have the system of record of the enterprise from any industry irrespective. We have business support services, and we also have operation support services, along with the data stores that we have in that enterprise. And in the left hand side, we see the developers. These developers could be internal within the same enterprise, or could be external, providing 1P or 3P applications. Again, this application could be backend applications, could be web applications, could be mobile applications, or even voice applications. The developers are going to interact or to reach the system of record through system of engagement that mainly have two building blocks. The first one is the API management, and the core business, the core roles or responsibilities of the API management is to become an API gateway and API lifecycle manager. So the request that comes from the applications or the developers, it will go through to the API management. Part of the part of the responsibility is to do access control and verifying the request that comes. Is it authenticated? Is it authorized? Do the, does this request eligible to reach that particular resource from the backend? If yes, then it passed the request to the underlying layers. How is this happening? By the second building block in the system of engagement, which is the identity provider. The main responsibility of identity providers is the authentication to make sure that this is identified uh, application or user uh, or request. And the second is the authorization. Do they have, are they eligible to access that particular resource? This is happening between the API between the identity provider that pass this information to the API management. Another feature that could be happen in the API provider is the identity brokering, which means to act as an identity bus, making a single sign-on through other identity providers. Between the system of record and system of engagement, there comes a decoupling layer, and this layer is very important layer to be there. The main purpose of it is to decouple the contracts that are consumed by the developers from the underlying system of records. Why is that is important? But it's applying the hiding implementation, underlying implementation design pattern and decoupled contract. It allows the system of record or the enterprise to keep evolving in their system of record, replacing them, changing them to the better, making maintenance of them without impacting the partnership ecosystem or the developers community. So while the community evolving and creating, making their own innovation, we as an enterprise can make our own evolution and transformation internally within the system of our system of records. The decoupling layer, or sometimes called as API mediation, could be implemented through enterprise service bus, enterprise application integration. It could be done through service mesh and microservices. Not only that, and not limited to this, it could be done by any coarse-grained services that's delivered using Java Spring Boot or any programming language. And the part a major part of this decoupling layer is to make protocol translation. And this brings us to the existing standard and specification that exists nowadays for and supporting the API industries. The first one is the API specification. We have the famous one for REST APIs, which is Open API Initiative, and they have their own specification how to make your services compatible with the Open API and along with the documentation. We have also a Sync API for the APIs that support reactive or asynchronous transactions. To complete it with this specification is widely used there. There are also some industry-specific API specifications, like in telco industry, TM Forum Open API is a famous one that's used across internally to communicate between multiple BSS. And also we have Open Banking API specification. And today's conference, today and tomorrow, the conference is focused. Open banking is one of the major topic that is discussed here, that support fintech and supporting insurance, banks, etc. I would like also to mention here the security protocol, and this is very important because it supports the customer experience when we look at the customer from user perspectives. To make sure that the authorization is done with the proper protocol, we can use Open Authorization Framework. This is to provide reliable services and to tell also the customer that we know you. whoever access whoever customer access our services through a mobile app or through web application, the same experience should be given. And from security perspective, this protocol is supporting for authorization. Also, OpenID Connect, which is another protocol that's used for authentication. By this, I reach to the end of my presentation for today. We have discussed about the stages of digital transformation. We talk about digitization, which means an automation or changing from manual work into electronic work. And then the digitalization, which is making use of technology or making use of the APIs to provide or to enhance, to bring more business values to the end consumers within the enterprise. And we talk about digital transformation, which actually focus on making new digital services that's outside of the core business of the enterprise and gaining revenue out of these. We also talk about business scalabilities in APIs. We talk about internal innovation and how an enterprise or service provider improve their 1P applications using an APIs with the orchestration and the service compositions, even with external service providers. We also talk about partnership and partnership and ecosystem that form developer community, which help the reach, which help in the growth of reach for the main system of record of the enterprise. We talk about omnichannel and supporting the customer across with the same experience, same engagement across uh, different channels. And we found that how these business aspects help into the growth of reach for the uh, asset or the business transaction or making the data or accessing the data of the enterprise. We also had uh, a look at a blueprint and going through industry standards. Thank you for being with me in this session and being with us in the ABI Days Dubai and Middle East. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Faisal. It was really nice talk to understand about the how APIs is scalable in the business. So yeah, we do have a couple of questions from the audience, and there are it looks like it's really interesting question. So first question is, audience wanted to understand what's the difference between 1P application and the 3P application that you mentioned over the talk.
Yeah, that's very nice question.
Yeah.
The one the one P is the first party application, and we mean by that are the application or the system that are created by the service provider, the owner of the APIs. In the example that we have, the applications that are provided by the airlines themselves or
Okay.
by the hotel company themselves. The third B is actually the partner developers that they come with this idea of
Okay.
of combining between airlines and hotels, like what we have in Skyscanner, giving the customer multiple the cheapest price among multiple airlines carriers, or in Al Musafir that
Okay.
brings from hotels as well as the airlines. Yeah, I hope.
Okay, yeah, we can consider it as a first party and third party application development.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly,
okay,
exactly. Yeah.
okay, cool. Okay, thank you, Faisal. It was really nice talking to you. In the audience, if you have any question, Faisal is available on the LinkedIn and on the Twitter. So feel free to ping him if you have any question. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Faisal.